got back from a trip recently. I mean, Dylan again went out on another trip. Not Dylan, Devin.
I did. We're a very confusing duo. Yes.
Yeah.
He will try to take the credit for it, though. I know that look in his face.
Wait, Devin, have you been to Ukraine?
I've heard of a Ukraine before. It's somewhere up where you are right now, right?
I don't know. I lost track of Ukraine. I lost it. I can't find it anymore.
You lost track Ukraine? That's really unfortunate.
Definitely didn't lose track of Ukraine. Trust me. I'm made of it, aware of its existence every day as I get handed it's blowing up my phone. But no, I don't know where Ukraine is. I lost it.
Okay. But it happens. Sometimes we just misplace countries. Maybe it's in your other pocket.
Did you look?
No, I didn't look. I thought, Ukraine could do without me for a little bit. I mean, I had a...
Thank God.
I mean, I thought Ukraine needed me out because I got in almost with a fist fight, actually, in Kiev recently. Very strange.
Yeah.
This I need to hear. In this Kiev, in this mythical Ukraine place, but I need to hear this.
Yeah, in the land of like honeydew and marshmallow clouds, known as Ukraine. I was going to the protests. I had just gotten back from the front, and I wanted to go to the protests because personally, I prefer being on the front when these protests happen, and it happens every time. When there was the big anti-corruption protests, we were on the front. I think we were on the lake to the south of Konstantinivka, I believe.
It started when we were in near Mezheva area in Dnipro Oblast. We went all the way to Kramatorsk, and they were still going on when we were south of Konstantinivka.
Yeah, it was the entire trip. Like at the start of the trip, the protests started, and by the time we went home, the protests were over. They already got all their objectives. And in this case too, this time though, we were on the Dobrapila axis when this was going on. Now I get back and I'm like, I gotta film some protests here. I can't be on the front line every single time one of these protests happen. Like protests are my jam. I grew up in the DC area. It's kind of like, the thing you do in the neighborhood.
Active society person.
I try to be, part of civil society. And as a DMV local from the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, you can kind of look at everybody who comes to DC to protest snobbily, you're in my neighborhood. What, you here to talk about environmental regulation? Yeah, I'm trying to go to work. Get out of my fucking way. I can treat them in that manner, which makes me feel big and makes them feel small. And so I enjoy that. Yep. I can't do that in Ukraine, though, of course. But we were going on the way to the protest, and in the taxi that we took, because I'm a fat American and I just couldn't deal with the train system that day. I take a taxi over, and the taxi stops at a weird place in between one road and another road. Just it's like the place he shouldn't be letting people off, but he just stopped there. He said "Toots," I said "Toots," and I get out of the car, and as I'm getting out of the car, I hear the person behind him go "eh," and really as if he had a heart attack and he fell on the steering wheel after the first bump. He didn't know that's what the horn was gonna do. And so as he does that, I get out, I look back, and I see him drive up next to the taxi that we were in, and he just starts yelling out, "Suka!" Just every bad, vulgar thing you could imagine to this poor taxi cab driver who looked like he had just died inside. His eyes, his bags under his eyes. The dude's tired. He's trying to bring home a meal to his family, and he just has to watch this guy thrashing around at him in his general direction from outside the window. And he was big enough that it looked like a Pillsbury Doughboy kind of stuffing out of the package container as he was leaning out of the window. His car was going to tip over from him trying to lean out the window to yell at the taxi cab driver. And so he does that for a minute as the taxi cab driver says nothing back from him. Just a minute in the road, blocking the road as he complained about the taxi cab driver blocking the road, just yelling at the taxi cab driver. And this, it drags me in. I'm a man of chaos. I like conflict interpersonally. Not much on the war side, I've found. I don't getting bombed, maybe not as much, but interpersonal conflict. I'm a human being. I love that drama as much as the next person. I love my reality TV slop. I'm a big bar rescue guy, you know? And so I watch just kind of baffled. And eventually, I guess he figures that he's not going to get a reaction out of this guy. So he just keeps driving and he spots us, those who were in the back of the taxi. So he pulls up to the side of the road and he starts yelling at us, just random insults interspliced with I guess traffic advice, I must imagine.
Probably. Very nice traffic advice.
On the third line, I do I give him one of these, right? Because I just can't do. It's I just
the
got
universal
back from the
language,
front.
yeah, of course.
Oh.
I'm trying to go work, and you're bothering me with Ukrainian traffic law when it's not even. I was just in a taxi. Okay, the dude said get out here. I got out here. Okay, I did it as fast as possible. I heard you beep, and I was like, "Good sir, I'll get out as fast as I could." And once I did that. That dude, I had never seen a man so angry in this country, and I've seen men on the front with pure anger, pure anger. And it was as if I had taken his puppy, and I said, "Hey, I'm gonna join the World Cup," and I just used it as a soccer ball for an hour, and he had to walk from the stadium or something. I had just pile drived his mother, that I had found his childhood home and did graffiti on it. That I had shit in his hat. I had did something to anger this man, unspeakable. So again, this man angry about stopping traffic, parks in the middle of the road, gets out of his car, slams the door, and he just starts stomping over to me, and he shoves me hard, right? As if he wanted to get me off my feet. But in that moment I'm like, well, gosh, I don't want to get in a fist fight with a $2,000 to $3,000 camera on me, and somebody, and immediately someone takes out their phone, so they start recording, and so I don't need American journalist, Amerikanski pressa, beat local bum. I don't need that. I don't need that on my conscience. So my first instinct was just I grabbed both sides of his shirt and I held it strong enough that I actually tore the top half of his shirt down from here to here. And the first thing I could think of, because I was going to say, Amerikanski pressa. And then I was like, that is the least intimidating thing in the world. I'm a journalist.
Thing you could have said.
I take pictures for a living, right? Okay, I take pictures in different environments, right? I would say maybe not your tip. I'm not a bird watcher, right? But that's not an intimidating thing to say. So I'm just no. Amerikanski soldat. Right? I say that as if to be don't, you're just fucking with a random
Stolen valor here from Dylan.
No, it's absolutely stolen valor. It's lies, deceit, lie, cheat, and steal. Okay, the East Coast code, as we like to call it, taken from a brave American patriot, Eddie Guerrero.
I didn't say it.
So I just don't want to get in a fist fight with this random dude, and I just need to say whatever's necessary to just make this dude leave me alone. And so after I say Amerikanski soldat, he responds something along the lines of but I'm a Ukrainian, I don't know what that was supposed to mean, but Amerikanski soldat, Ukrainian, I was okay. And
I'm Ukrainian taxi.
Yeah, so as I try to lie my way out.
He was just Ukrainian driver. He wasn't Ukrainian taxi.
Random Ukrainian. I am a Ukrainian driver. We drive with the driver's code of honor. Must, never let
I must
people
beat
out
you now, good sir.
I don't know. Just random anger. And so at this point, other people have taken out their phones and they've started recording. It's become a scene. It's become oh my gosh, people have I see little 90-pound women with their hands over their mouth oh, what's happening in my Ukraine? Just something along those lines. And Patrick Hillsman, who was with me, a good reporter, really does most of his work in the Middle East, but he comes to Ukraine when he can. He tries to get in between us to stop a fist fight from happening.
Patrick
and some locals
is about this
basically going to this
too.
dude fucking chill. What the fuck are you doing? Leave the foreigner alone. And eventually this dude takes a step back and I think he looks down at himself and he sees his shirt is half ripped. He looks disheveled. he looks like a crazy person, and he must have seen like the cameras and the fact that he looked like as stupid as he looked like a real knuckle dragger. Like he just got finished licking windows before he got into his car. And he must. And he
I love
decided,
these American expressions. Wow.
Yeah.
American expressions. I never thought of them. Window licker is a good American expression. But
knuckle dragger is also another one I've never heard.
At that point, he checked out and he just like huffed off and he got back into his car and he floored it. He got out of there as fast as he could. And then I had Ukrainians coming up to me apologizing. Like afterwards, like we're sorry for the crazy person. And I'm like, I imagine driving's very stressful. You know, I imagine, it's very hard.
Kyiv.
It's very
Kyiv.
And Kyiv, you know what? In Kyiv, maybe there's a point there. But yeah, it was a very strange experience. But I will say to the people at home that if you ever want to get out of a fight, the best thing is to lie and commit stolen valor.
That's going in my blackmail folder of you, by the way. So
it can't be a blackmail folder if I just said it on a public stream. And now, hey, Dylan, come to the Ukrainian fundraiser. I think people would, really like to know you. Hello, I do stolen valor in Ukraine. My name is Dylan Burns.
If you hate stolen valor, donate.
I mean, you are joining a list of people. At least you're open about it.
True.
At least you're open about it, and you're not asking for the money to be sent to you. You're asking.
Oh no, send me money too. I like money as well. If you want to,
shit.
If you imagine me dressed as a soldier, means you'll give me money. Absolutely. Imagine me with the biggest bazooka possible.
Dylan's
I could get him in the army.
Channel is linked in the description. You can go subscribe there, and I'm pretty sure his other channel links are there as well. Also, from Fabiano, thank you so much for the 10 euros and 71 cents. But yeah, thank you so much. So, also just Devon's links are also in the description.
If you want a non-stolen valor option.
We have the two for you today. Would you like the stolen valor or the stolen valor less? Your choice. Both come with ranch.
Coke and Coke Zero.
Exactly. So.
Oh my goodness.
My story is a lot less fun, dude. Like, you have the fun story. I just got back from our favorite body monger, and it wasn't in a field this time.
It was less insane when you did not describe him that way. But as a body monger is really.
I always call it a flesh trader because that's literally what they do. They are flesh traders.
Mine is better now, right? Better American. There you go. So mine has a veil of professionalism
body monger
to it.
Sounds cannibalistic. Flesh trader.
What he does is cannibalistic. We actually, there was a grenade in one of the body bags they pulled up, so it could have been at that point.
Okay, sorry, continue.
We went there. We were told last second. He was like, "Hey, you want to come film with us? We got a lot of bodies in." Okay, that's great. We'll definitely go film there. It's somebody we've wanted to talk with for a long time again and do work. Last time, we were out in this very nice field. There was a lot of sun. You could kind of get away from the corpse smell. This time, we were inside a barn, a very poorly ventilated barn, and the smell was just everywhere. I showered the morning beforehand, and at the end of the day, I could feel my hair with this thick dust that just clumped into it. It felt like I had been running with my helmet on all day. To be not so graphic with it. To be very graphic with it, we were able to interview him and then watched him work as he identified 4 bodies in various states of decay. Everything from somebody that looked like they were a paid actor just sleeping with their mouth open, is how fresh the body was, to they pulled out a body bag, and within the 10 or so minutes it took them to kind of dig through everything, they said, oh, there's bones of 2 to 3 people in this one, and then had to sort everything out. The first body was that of a Ukrainian POW who had his hands bound with tape, and that tape also bound down to his legs. And they found him with a bullet right in the back of the skull. The others were Russian, but that was the only Ukrainian of the day that they found. Just blatant war crime, and these guys go through enough bodies that they've seen it enough. It didn't even affect them. The only time it kind of affected them was one of the Russian bodies that they found. A guy who had been eaten by pigs, and there was not a lot of bones left, or skull in that manner. It's kind of like two pieces. His pant leg survived, and they found photos of his children, photos of his wife, and a letter that his wife had wrote him in Russian, basically saying, don't be a coward, don't surrender yourself, go fight, and go make us proud. And yeah, so they were reading this letter off next to what was left of him, essentially.
Wow.
Yeah. It was, I think we were there for about 5 hours. Intense 5 hours. That work, Dylan, as you know, is never fun, never easy, but incredibly good to be able to get and to show, because the Russian side doesn't get it at all, so. Or do a lot of these things. This guy's also, I was able to get a couple of his 2014 stories as well, because he's been doing this even since before full-scale invasion, before ATO times. He was finding bodies from World War I and World War II. And then that all kind of changed when the separatists had their little thing, and he started to find civilian bodies, and then these Russian separatists, and then he started to find Ukrainian bodies. They let him kind of go back and forth for a little while to get bodies, to trade bodies back and forth. There was one time near the end of his ability to go and do this, he was driving down the road, and he was going to meet the body truck right before the Russian separatist checkpoint. He had already paid the guys off. They knew he was coming. They were going to make the trade, get out of there. So as they're driving towards this checkpoint, a Russian column just passes right by them. And they're just like, all right, just wave guys, act like they're our boys. They just wanted to get there and get out. They pull up, they load the bodies up. He has to bribe the guy to get the bodies. He pays him a huge amount of cash. And then as they're driving the other way, they see that the Russian column had set up another checkpoint. So these guys are trapped in between two checkpoints. And what ends up happening is that they have to drive all the way up to the second checkpoint. And the main guy who's been doing this since even before 2014, had to basically act Russian. He had to try to convince them he was Russian. These are just, Ukrainian trash bodies. I'm going to go throw them out. Just give us 15 minutes. And he's having to square up with these Russian militants, get in their face and act Russian while trying to convince them to let him get out. Eventually, they let him pass this checkpoint, and they floor it. They just go as fast as they can. And they end up getting out of there. And he ends up getting a call from an unknown number later that's basically this Russian group spent 2 hours searching the surrounding forests to try to find you guys. And they were basically told, don't come back if you don't have him. So from then on, he was put on a kill list, a watch list, because before he had been these are Russian fascists, these guys, we can't trust them. And they found that after they let him pass. So it's a difference of a day if these guys would have just been shot on sight or actually gotten out with the bodies.
And this guy, just so everyone understands, he's not a soldier, he's a volunteer. He does this.
Mm-hmm. Yep, he goes out with soldiers to hunt for the bodies. It used to be when everything was liberated after 2022, there was a bit more ground gained that he was able to find bodies more back of the line. But now he basically goes to near zero line, or what would be considered a near zero line in this age of a kill zone. Very risky. He's often accompanied by soldiers, but he goes out alone. He doesn't want to take anybody. Luckily, he said he will give us footage of him going out and doing this. which is very nice of him to be able to do, because I've seen clips. I've seen kind of what they post now and again. And I mean, they're under constant threat of FPV, constant threat of attack of any different sort at that range. I mean, that could be artillery, that could be anything really. You know, some infiltration group gets a little bit too far past and it's them. So this guy very much believes that life is sacred and that no matter who these people are, they deserve to be buried on their land with their family. And it is his mission, Russian, Ukrainian, any sort of foreigner, doesn't matter to him. He wants the families to get their bodies back.
Wow.
Like I said, it's a lot less funny of a story. It really is.
Jill.
But yeah, so there's I imagine we'll do something with a lot of this footage, but it's good to be able to get. It was a last minute thing. So now I have a little bit of chill time before I go back out to the front. So I get to do the fun job of editing footage. Yay.
Yeah, I saw your post about asking for editors.
Yeah, video editing I'll probably still keep on mine, but there's some stuff on the back end that is, you know, everything from managing posts to copywriting to, you know, Dylan won't give me his music guy still. So I'm having to look for somebody to make it. I know, that damn smile, that damn fucking smile. Yeah. So, I want somebody to be able to do kind of more custom music though, because it's just better overall for an overall product, for an overall scene. And, yeah, to have something kind of.
I'll reach out to someone I know here in South Africa, but
that would be perfect. Yeah, no, let's connect them. So
let me make a note of that.
Yeah. See, Dylan, I'll need you, motherfucker. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll let all the. I mean, my music. I was a little busy. He did this like on this like indie film project. What is it called? Odyssey, something like I don't know.
Is that one that no one saw? Is that one that was like criticized for being too historically accurate?
Yeah, they did every scene when a minority came on. They did the backing track. They said "fuck you, white man" to like really get like all the outrage pumping.
That's different. I thought that they would have just been like stereotypical music, but done in like ancient Greek style instruments, you know?
Yeah, no, but they said that in ancient Greek.
Yeah, okay, I understand. That makes more sense now. So.
We do have a question from Kai asking, when will you be done editing?
When will I be done editing?
Yeah, Sisyphus, when will you be done pushing your boulder?
When I'm dead, probably.
No, with
so the next project coming up.
With a story about the guy who collects corpses, and you'll be done once you're dead. That is.
I mean, that's true. That would be actually the best way to end that. Would be my GoPro on and him coming to find me. I think that would that'd be like full circle, you know?
Full circle. Oh my God. Okay.
Yeah, I would be the first.
I see the vision. I see the
director.
artistic vision. Right. 100% there. 100%.
I'd have to write down the whole plan. All right,
Obviously.
Come get me at this time of day, at this angle. You know, my camera will be facing down, so it would be good.
And then final editing notes.
Yeah, and then it's like I do a pre-recorded voiceover of like, if you are watching this, I am dead now. And it's just a pan up of my face just laying there like...
Do they count Californians?
You know, I asked him and he said he would come and get me. So...
More liberal than I am.
So, Mitch, that's saying something.
Yeah. No.
So Mitch says that is Stephen King level. Also, Mitch sent us 30 Canadian bucks. So thank you very much for that.
To answer the question about editing for that specific thing, current timeline is maybe 2 to 3 months. I have this big police documentary that I'm working on There's probably going to be a prequel video that I cut out of it, because if I was to leave that section in, it would be about 2.5 hours long. And that's a bit much to ask people to sit down and go through, especially on something I want someone to see all of at one time. After that, there's a piece on Donetsk firefighters, because during this last trip, I kind of wrapped up filming with them. I've been out with their evacuation groups 3 times, been out reporting with them when ballistic strikes have hit in Kramatorsk. And this last time, I was granted exclusive access to be at their head fire station in Donetsk, in Kramatorsk, and it got hit with 2 Shaheds while we were there. Dylan actually saw the Shaheds coming to hit me.
Yeah,
Dylan was like, yes, I organized those to come.
Wonder where that's going.
Mm-hmm. That's the exact line he says in the video. Oh, I wonder where that's going. And I'm running down to the shelter. You found out. You found out. So they won't let people do that anymore, by the way, Dylan. Like, I was the last one that they were letting do that.
Thanks.
You can use it for Kramatorsk. I'm fine with that.
See, he's so gracious. See that he waits till everybody's watching. Say, Dylan, as a charitable man, as a charitable California contributing to the tax base, you could use my footage to help buttress your shitty Nokia phone style recordings that you tend to do somewhere vaguely near the front. Are you usually in Lviv, Dylan? I don't know. Are you a Lviv sitter? I can't tell.
You know, all I'll say is that California gives more in taxes to the federal government. So in a way, this is kind of just like a continuation of that trend.
That's the most Californian thing you could have said.
You're welcome.
Oh my goodness, I love this.
This is the chaos you wanted, isn't it? So
absolutely, I'm like, yes.
When we first started working together and going like back and forth like this, our field producer Bogdan tried to stop us a few times. He's like, guys, we're all friends here. Guys, we're all a team here. Now he accepts it. He's just like, you guys. You know?
That's also because he's East Coast too. So like he knows.
Well, he's Eastern Ukrainian, which is something I don't have an issue with.
East.
No, it's just eastern part of the U.S.
Look. You just have to accept that you're spiritually Lviv.
I'm not going to look.
You're spiritually Lviv. You're spiritually Lviv.
I'm not. I live farther in the east than you do when you're here.
It's east-west FM, right? And you're leaning heavy on the west.
We're a team, okay?
In fact, I would say you're more
Ukrainians
spiritually
first.
Lublin, in fact.
You think so?
Yeah, I think you're somewhere in Poland.
I think you're Smolensk, all right? So...
I'm spiritually Murmansk.
True.
Oh my goodness. Also, I love how being spiritually Lviv is like thrown around.
It's such an insult. It's such an insult.
It's like, oh, you're based in Lviv?
Yeah. Get down on that level. Yeah. So you have 2 guys who go run around the front being all crazy, you know, it's a different world. So
no, absolutely. But one of them is spiritually Lviv.
We won't say who, but you know, there's only one of us who looks like he would be in Lviv, and he has some blue shitty lighting and a RGB microphone right now.
What is that shirt?
One of the
This is actually a pattern from like the West in the U.S. You know, the desert area, the Wild West.
You say?
Yeah.
West.
I say of the U.S. Wait for it.
I just find geography fascinating.
Do you know there's only one country that separates the west part of the U.S. and Ukraine?
Did you learn that in the Californian education system?
I learned that from looking at a fucking map, you barbarian.
Surprised they print those over there.
We have to turn them upside down to understand, but yes, you know.
Oh my goodness. My word. So
we make a really good team. So
excellent team. Excellent. I love it.
Somebody's just said in chat, Devin looks like a guy from Lviv or Lutsk, and Dylan looks like a guy from Dnipro. Dnipro? That's fair.
You've never gotten Dnipro
That's actually
before.
fair.
It is. You usually get Moldovan,
What
though.
chat are you on? I'm not seeing it on my side.
Oh, it's one of my chatters. You know, one of the East Coast chatters.
Ah,
Okay.
yeah. You see how they're just so hateable, you know? So
I'm just blaming my software setup. You guys are like out here throwing shit. Oh my word. Also, we do have Chris being like, just imagine you are trying to put a tourniquet on someone after being hit, and these two fuckers are doing this shit nonstop beside you.
it's true. It's true, though. Now, imagine I'm the one with the tourniquet, and I look at him and I go, do I really want another East Coaster in the world? Ah, fine, I guess.
To be fair, I'd rather
you have
bleed
to do
out
it.
than let a West Coaster touch me.
Yeah, so.
I was gonna come up for in your defense, Dylan, but you prefer to bleed out, so I guess.
Absolutely.
As the gracious Californian, I'll let him. That's the thing.
As long as they don't put no West Coast like tag on my toe, I'm fine.
Once you're dead, I can do whatever. Most intimidating. Let's shut him up. I have never seen him do that before.
Oh my goodness. So
Hey, Dennis Daviov just put in thanks for telling the truth about Zelensky and Siersky. Cheers. I love my favorite pilot expert in chat. Good to see him.
Hey, welcome, buddy.
I should have probably sent you a co-stream link, only realizing that now. Then you could have co-streamed. I'll do it next time.
There's always next time.
Definitely always next time. Okay, super. I didn't even think of it. I didn't even think. I was like, but yeah. Oh my goodness. So let's check donations. No further donations. It's fine. But everyone is like distracted by this awesome chat. So it makes sense. People are going to donate afterwards. I'm convinced. 100% convinced.
They better. If you don't donate, you're East Coast, okay? You're spiritually Lviv. So
You need to take it from the West Coast to steal an East Coast idea and try to make it their own.
Hey, I didn't hear it. So
all of this being said,
I've got like 5 more chambered. I'm holding back so the show could move forward.
no, it's fine. Like we can schedule them at certain timestamps for you to just unload.
I appreciate that. Just give me like a signal, like a finger in the air or something.
Got it.
it's like a gun up and, you know.
I do want to talk about your. I don't even actually know. Now we know that Devin's body footage of the bodies will only be done in 2 to 3 months. Now I'm wondering, the footage both of you posted on your social media, was that recent, or is that also from 2 to 3 months ago?
If it's the artillery going off when we were kind of standing in there, that was a more recent
Under
one.
the net,
But that's
where
just a
Dylan
little
was
clip.
like, look at this war bum. And
Yeah,
then
it's
people
true.
were... I read the comments and there were people who legit did not know who you were. So they're just like offering random ass input. He's like, no, he just hasn't washed in a few days, or like, is this... So that was my favorite. Like they don't realize it's you being like, hey, who's this war bum? They're just like, hey, be nice.
Yeah, how dare you insult the brave? That guy might look like a
The
bum,
brave
but he's
stolen
okay.
valor guy that
He's
is
all right.
Dylan. But
He still hasn't washed in a few days, but that's just Dylan, you know? So
so I want to talk about that experience, and but more specifically about when you guys go to the front, you've obviously, I'm assuming, already have established relationships with the unit you go to. Or is it sometimes they're just like, hey, random journo, come join us?
It's kind of a weird mix, I would say. Actually, a lot of times the initial plan we go in with changes quite a bit when we're actually in the field. There's some.
I mean, it is Ukraine. That makes sense.
Oh, yeah. You know, frontline stuff goes through. Press officer doesn't want to work with us in the end, or they keep switching things on us. It's as much war conditions as it is interpersonal press officer ego trips in a way. You know, there's a lot of brigades that we have really good standing with, and those are kind of like our main backups. But I don't know. I think we always try to work with new people as well, get different experiences, different gear. Is that about right?
Yeah, I mean, there's not like any particular unit that I spend the majority of my time with. I think the longest I ever did was I did demining in Balaklia for like a month, and I just lived with them for a month as and filmed in the minefields and stuff, which was a really cool experience, especially because they could drink you under a table. It was fascinating to watch. And like if they drank too much and they didn't want to demine the next day, it's like, and they told the people to like, oh, fuck off. It's like, well, I'm gonna go demine then. No, you're not. So you just wait until they can go demine. But most of the time, I'm trying to like diversify the amount of units I'm working with. So there's not like a lot of times I go back to the same team to go film the same position, because I'm trying to get as many different perspectives and points on the front as possible. Now there's certain like brigades that we have a good working relationship with the press officer, so we can be like, hey, something fell through. Do you think you can get me something on short notice? And they'd be like, we got you. We can get you an artillery team here. We can get you something over there. And that's very helpful. But yeah, a lot of things fall out in the last second. And then press officers and like, I'm fine like sabotaging myself. 80% of press officers should probably be reassigned to like go work on other places on the front. Okay, I'm not saying they should all.
He didn't say it. Dylan said.
I didn't say the 225.
Dylan said it. Dylan said it.
I didn't say anything like. I didn't say the 155th. I didn't say any of those words except for right now. But
Not at all.
What I will say is that a lot of people have chosen press officer positions because it's considered safe work, right? Yeah. And so that's why they're there. They don't really have a real passion for the position. There's other people who choose a press officer position, and whatever amount of authority they have, they love to rule over it, and they love to make it as difficult as possible for you. And if you're not part of a news agency that has 3 letters, then they're not really paying attention to you. But
at all,
there is this small group. This hidden, you have to dig really hard to find them. But there's a small group of just banger press officers who were either fixers before the war, or those are the best ones. The best ones were people who were fixers before the war, working in 2014 to 2022. Those people get you the best stuff. I remember there was this guy in the 42nd that was just, filmed air defense stuff. He was like, hey, you want to go to the contact line? I mean, Yes. Okay, the Russians 500 meters that way. Let's hope they don't assault while you're here, you know? And like just getting fantastic footage. Or the 68th have been very good to me. The 44th, it was so hard to get an embed with the 44th. We would just send paperwork after paperwork. But when I do, they put me up with the cyborg, and we go for 22 kilometers on foot, getting some of the best on-the-ground footage of the battle for Druskivka that currently I believe is in existence, right? Because we just kept going and kept going and kept going until eventually said, you know what? They've sent us 9 requests. I think maybe they really want to film with us. Let's stop them from harassing us. They were about to get a restraining order on these people. It's probably easier to send them to the front.
Let's choose which one are we going with?
It really is sometimes like talking with people a lot, building a relationship. Some press officers that are good have been burned by a lot of people, and sometimes they'll need recommendations beforehand. Or like this, we just kept pestering them enough until they finally said, fuck it, we'll take these guys. Why not? The good press officers, they are very few and far between. Dylan and I work in very different ways. Dylan is a very location-based documentary person, and I tend to be either more subject-based, either like with my drone interceptor thing that I just did, or I'm working on something about mid-range strike drones where I'm focused on the drone and the technology itself. But I also like to work with individual brigades. You know, the police brigade documentary, 85% of that is probably working with Hijak. And that's also why I have like 4 fucking Hijak patches up here and a little wooden thing I was given. I was given that by a guy named Bogdan, who is the commander of a Bogdana position. So it was Bogdan's Bogdana. It was great.
You know, there was some commander
really,
who's like assigning different tools, and he was like,
even Bogdan was like, I like to say Bogdana for Bogdan. That was great. No, it is really like a challenge sometimes. I like going back and working with a lot of these same units because for Hijak, for this patrol police brigade, I find it very interesting.
Sorry, Hijak sounds so French.
It kind of does, doesn't it? Yeah, Hijak.
Hijak.
That could be like
it's like Jacques, but it's like Hijak. It's like
the male version. Yeah. It actually means predator, which is why they have the Alien versus Predator helmet as
that
their,
makes way more sense. Thank you.
These guys are all patrol police cops. They all volunteered to basically give up a cushy gig, sitting in some safe city, driving around a patrol car, you know, handing out speeding tickets to someone going 1 kilometer over the speed limit, to going and fighting on the front, whether that's infantry, whether that's anti-air, artillery. You know, these guys, I find them very fascinating, and I like to very much dive into one particular subject or topic. So I tend to, you know, if I find a good press officer, I stick with that. That's my ride or die there. But, you know, branching out as we do, we always hope to find more, and we're always disappointed.
I'll see if I can pimp out our units. Dylan already knows. He already gave good review about the 42nd. So I'll reach out to the other ones. Maybe we can sort you out.
I always love to put more patches on the board. So
it's weird for us, right? Because I feel like, you know, we had to, like, as an NGO, we had to kind of go and evaluate how are we going to be as successful as we possibly can, right? We're not a big NGO. We're 3 people. And one of them is an active duty soldier, right?
Yeah.
So you can imagine there's a limit to everything. And, you know, me being based in South Africa, there's also only so much I can do from here. So we had to go and decide, or like to go and look, how can we be as effective as possible? And we made a choice, and it's a difficult choice sometimes to stick to that choice. And we constantly have to remind each other this is our choice, that we focus on 3 battalions, and then a 4th one we help with Starlink subscriptions, right? And it's a difficult thing because we're like, we still get these requests from other people, and we'll be like, hey, right now we can't help you, but try again in a while. And then they actually remember to try again in a while. I'm like,
oh no, yeah.
like, this. You've been asking us every month, like every 6 months for 18 months now. I'm sorry. So then I saw, I was watching one of Preston Stewart's videos, and he's like, oh yeah, they're helping this unit now. I'm like, oh yes, finally someone helped them. Right?
Good, yeah.
I'm like, these poor people, I've just been waiting for like a year and a half. But then
everyone
also,
is so strapped. Like that's the horrible thing, is that every group is like, hey, we're, you know, a year out, we're 6 months out, we're, you know, try again eventually. Like, but there's always more demand.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I'm like, that's what I'm like, so it's gotten to the point where like myself, Halina, and like a few other like NGO directors, we'll just message each other. We're like, hey, we've got a request, can you fill it? And usually we're able to fill each other's requests. And right now it's like, sorry, we can't.
Yeah, that's the hard thing with the economy as it is at the moment. So
yeah, also I feel like attention spans, I think it's also a contributing factor.
Big thing. So, and you know, maybe not necessarily attention span even, it could just be that, because I know this happens sometimes when there's a lot of either very good news or when there's this talk of like, oh, the war's about to end. The people that I know who run NGOs who do support networks, they always get less donations when people start talking that way, because everyone goes, oh, it's getting over, so why do we need to do anything? And that
honestly,
just
the copium of like, I'm like, yeah. And with like, even with the recent, and I don't want to get into politics too much, but with the recent changes, I saw someone post, there's like, oh yeah, well, this is it. Because of this, I'm no longer going to donate to Ukraine. And I'm like, cool. And I messaged, like on Twitter, I was like, hey, by the way, our guys on the front still need it. They actually still need the equipment, right? They've got families to get back to. And he's like, I don't see, like, he's not going to help a country that's intent on committing suicide. And what was the other one? He's like, if they don't fix this, they're as good as dead. And I'm like, and you've just handed them the gun.
Loaded it, cocked it. Here you go. Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm like, wow. So it's difficult as well, because I also like, and I think it would be interesting to hear from your side, how do you look at this? Because you obviously have more insight into what's going on than most people. But I'm assuming there are also some things that you get told that you're like, oh, you can't talk about this yet. So how do you navigate that space when you're like, this is reality, but you also know that if you tell people too much of this reality, they'll get demotivated. But you have to twist. How do you navigate that? Not just like as a journalist, I feel like both of you are really good at storytelling. So not just in your storytelling, but also in your, like more your parasocial relationships on social media, right? How do you navigate that?
You want to take it first, buddy? You want me to take it?
Sure. I mean, I can take it first. We might have different philosophies about it. I don't, because I talk to different journalists, and I'll be very blunt. I think we have to be cold and honest about what's going on the front, and cold and honest about our political leadership. I've had conversations with journalists that have like interviewed Zelensky or interviewed like really high level people, and they'll be like telling me their questions. It's like, oh, I'm going to ask him this, this, and this. It's like, what do you want to ask? I'm like, oh, let's talk about the hostile military administration and the corruption scandal. Oh, let's ask Zelensky about why does Scala even like exist in its current form? Like, they have more men than they should legally be able to under Ukrainian military structure to stay under Syrskyi's command. Oh, let's talk about like this deserter that was shot, or oh, let's talk about, like, Dylan, you can't ask any of these questions to Zelensky. Are you fucking insane?
They wouldn't
you can't
let
ask
you.
these questions.
Yeah.
No, you need to ask him like, why is Ukraine so pretty? Like, yeah, I mean, Ukraine is very pretty, but this type of light to me is a disinfectant. And I have found, when I talk to people about the war, and I am honest about corruption, and I'm honest about how brutal the war is, and honest about everything, and I give people a complete perspective, they're more willing to listen to what I have to say and to my conclusions, right? The fact that I'm willing to be like, yeah, in this instance, volunteer funds were misused. Right? This is necessary in order to make sure volunteer funds are correctly used, so we don't have a report in some year that says 30 to 40% were like relocated to somebody's dacha, right? That's why we need to talk about any individual instance that this might have happened. That's why we need to talk about instances of abuse, in instances where, the disaster of Hulepole, the fucking rotation disaster that happened there, or any other number of military tragedies that could be pointed at, decisions that should not have been made. So I believe it needs to be cold and honest, because I remember I had a conversation with I also run Track Ukraine, which is an organization that tracks politicians' views on the war. And when I talked to these candidates, I remember recently, it was like, hey, I just got back from a protest against the Ukrainian government. And they looked at me like I was crazy. Like, what do you mean? Number one, they're like, why are you telling me about protests against the Ukrainian government? And number two, how are there protests against the Ukrainian government in wartime? And to some people, that's a challenge. The fact that this is all happening is discontent. But to me, This is civil society. This is showing that Ukraine is stronger than the guy who voiced Angry Birds in the Angry Birds movie Ukraine edition, which of course Zelensky did, which is what I know him for. But
not Paddington Bear, his best role.
When I think of Zelensky, I of course first think of his most important role in his life, which was voicing the Red Bird in the Angry Birds movie. But to me, that was an opening for a conversation of the strength of Ukrainian civil society, the fact that even in wartime under martial law, democracy is not something that happens every 2 to 4 years. Democracy is something that you practice 365 days every single year, and you can protest during martial law. The first protest broke military curfew in order to show their immense discontent at reversing the advances the Ukrainians literally bled and died on the street for during Euromaidan. When you tie a nation's image to one man or to a group of elites that people know on their TVs, then you make them the pillars that hold up the nation's reputation. If there was a scandal tomorrow that Zelensky had engaged in some horrible corruption, I'm not saying that that's going to happen, but if that was to happen, Ukraine should be stronger than one man. And if Zelensky was removed tomorrow by the people in a mass movement, the country should be able to continue resistance and continue existence. And having that conversation bluntly and coldly with candidates got me a lot of Track Ukraine pledge signings where they say, you know what, you've convinced me, I'm going to go vote in favor of Ukraine aid. I'm going to go do X, Y, and Z, because what it felt like sometimes when you're talking to pro-Ukraine people was like, you don't talk about these things. You don't highlight these things. No, talk about these things openly. Let's have frank conversations about it because the Russians can't. And we should take advantage of what the Russians can't do. And an open civil society dialogue is something that is impossible in Russia. Something that I found fascinating was going on Russian social media after these protests, and they're literally like, well, why can the Kohols do it, but we can't? Why can they protest their military leadership? What the fuck? Why are
they effective in their protests?
Yeah, they're freaking out. They're freaking out.
They're melting down.
It's foreign to them. It's the idea of holding their government accountable is literally foreign to modern Russian
Human
civil
agency,
society.
shocker.
So this is a strength of Ukraine, and it's something that most freedom-loving people can relate to, can sympathize with. In fact, I would even say should learn from.
No, we actually have now very similar approaches. Before I lived in Ukraine full-time, I did think that there was kind of a necessary line that needed to be drawn. You know, there was inside baseball, and then there was, you know, the public conversation on there. But inside baseball doesn't work. And it doesn't work in the regards of the country. It doesn't work in the regards of actually wanting good changes that people can and should push for. The Western press is, for better or worse, a large influence here. So if we can talk about things that the average Ukrainian, the person who is actually involved in these, whether it's protests, whether it's dissatisfaction, want spoken about, we can add additional pressure that just doesn't happen. There can't happen from the Ukrainian side in that same level. I remember getting a bunch of shit for talking about Scala stuff before it became a very big kind of scandal. A buddy of mine who I'd known, Azad, he was working with a Sky News team. Their journalist team came under direct fire from Scala after being told to wait somewhere. Luckily, they survived because they were in a bulletproof car. But then they were told to basically like, get the fuck out of here or we're going to kill you directly. And they kept quiet about that for a year. They reported it up the chain of command. They tried to tell the press service. They went directly to the ground forces command and was like, hey, what the fuck? They were offered chevrons and told that they would it would be looked into. And they never got anything back from that, ever. So inside baseball doesn't work. And a lot of people will be very angry about the fact that people do talk about it. And there's 3 names that pop into my head right away of people who will try to talk the inside baseball, inside Ukraine, and fuck it up every single time. There's one of them I have a running counter for who's like, my sources have told me this. He's wrong every single time, but he always says his sources have told him. God, I hope it's somebody pranking him. And then you have the people who will just...
Have you considered that the source is the bottle?
You know, I have, and I would prefer it to be somebody in a brigade who doesn't like him, who's just like, hey, I'll tell you something. Yeah, come here, believe this. Yeah. And then you have people who will do everything in their power to never once mention an issue that could take away from a perfect worldview of Ukraine. Mm-hmm. They will sidestep every issue. They will kind of like double speak around it to where they talk about it, but they never say anything. They never take a stance. They never show anything. They never show anyone else taking a stance. They just say, this thing is bad, or this thing isn't going away. And I understand why they do that, but I do think less of them when they do. And I do have to remind myself kind of like, all right, I get why they're doing it. Just let them fucking do it. Let them do their shit. But it does bother me now, because I do think that there is some cleansing property and some power that should be pushed by good people talking about these issues, even if they are uncomfortable sometimes. And of course, there's stuff that we as journalists, sorry, I'm going to cut you off again. East Coast opinion doesn't matter. There is some stuff, of course, that as journalists working in the field, that you see, that you go, this is going in my after-war file. Whether that's something you hear, whether that's something you're shown, whether that's something you encounter, and you just go, it's
not the time yet.
Yeah. And I think everyone has that. Everyone has a folder. The more time you spend on the front, the bigger that folder gets. That stuff I think is fine not to talk about until after, but as long as it does get eventually talked about.
I remember I had this interaction where, long story short, a Ukrainian soldier threatened to execute me and my fixer Bogdan on the side of a road for just absolutely ridiculous reasons, right? He was on his phone, he almost crashed into us, got angry at us, and then was threatening. Ridiculous situation. And to me, I remember thinking, do I talk, if I say this in public, will people, how will it hurt Ukraine? And immediately I knocked myself out of that thinking, because, there's a few scenarios I could play out. I could not talk about it, the story gets out, and the story is now that I suppressed it. Then there's a scenario where I don't talk about it, and we just pretend that there's no such thing as PTSD or trauma related, war crazy. War crazy is a real thing. And after this war, the mental health needs of Ukraine are going to be, there's not really going to be something comparable to century to the widespread need for mental health assistance in the country. And so I firmly believe that the after war folder should stay as small as possible, be mostly related to security issues or social issues that could literally be put on the back burner because there's other more important stuff, and it's very difficult to have this conversation honestly right now, right? So I think that there has to be limits to what you put in the after war folder, and so I have at my time forced myself to fight with press officers who's hey, you interviewed the soldier and he talked about how his commander wanted to put him in the middle of this field, had never visited it, and was going to get them all killed if they listened to their orders. And we don't want to get the soldier in trouble, so how about you remove it? And that's always the way they sneak it in there. We don't want to get the soldier in trouble. I am going to be the one getting them in trouble. Mind you, most of the time I'm saying something what do you want? Hey, what's something that's difficult for your work? I was that's a question. And someone could be oh, being away from family is a typical answer. But no, this guy went on a 5-minute diatribe about how his commander sucks ass. And so is it my job now to cut it out because the press officer's oh, I don't want to get them in trouble? The dude knew what he was saying when he said it. And so I'm not going to take the voice from this person. And it's important that we show this type of divides and not pretend that Ukraine's some flowery picture where everybody woke up, kissed their framed picture of General Sierski next to their bed, and then went off to do their due diligent duty. No, that's not how war works. And so I think Devin's right. I think we call it out. Whether or not, even if, I remember saying to Devin, and I wanted to tweet this out, and now I'm committing to tweet it out. The next person that is a Western journalist that gives Zelensky a softball interview should be publicly humiliated. They should be dragged through the mud. This is not the political environment right now to be going to Zelensky and asking, how much does Ukraine need help? Ask those questions. Of course, that should be the majority of the interview. You're speaking to a Western audience. But also, Zelensky won't do interviews with the local press. He doesn't. He doesn't do interviews with local reporters. He doesn't do press scrums really with local reporters. This is left to other officials because local reporters are going to ask him questions that are going to be weighty in a way that could have consequences, and he avoids them. And so I think that Western journalists, not only do they have a responsibility to a Western audience, but they have a responsibility to a global audience and a Ukrainian audience to make sure they ask questions about the future of Nabu, the future of the military command, why Fedorov was fired, what reforms are still going to be led through or still going to be implemented, if they're going to actually be enforced, the reforms, or we're just going to allow them to be on paper, whether they're going to be actual reforms. These are things that should be asked, not only because they're important to Ukrainians, but if you want to convince Westerners 5 years into the full-scale war to keep sending assistance to this country, you're gonna have to address these questions openly, directly. And if Zelensky goes into this interview and he nails it, he just knocks it out of the park, that's something that could really not only convince people at home and change polling, which has been going in a more pro-Ukraine direction, but it can convince policymakers. It can convince the people who read foreign affairs before they go and vote because they're into it like that. It can convince advisors. And so I am a full disinfectant, put the light on it, expose the corruption, expose mismanagement, expose all of it if you can. And also that at this point, there should even be a certain rally around the truth effect where these people who are getting these interviews that have benefited from the privilege of having access to Ukrainian high society and have made a lot of fucking money doing it, they have a responsibility to ask these tough questions. And if they don't, they shouldn't be welcome at the bar with the reporters that do real work on the front line. They should be kicked out.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the reason Dylan and I will never be able to speak with them. But yes, no, I fully co-sign that. Look, the way that I've kind of thought about a good metaphor of saying it is that if you cross your legs and you sit on one of them and it starts to go to sleep, right? Now, there might be some people that say, hey, if you get up, if you move that leg, blood will flow through it and it'll start to hurt a bit and it might not feel that good. Well, the other option is that if you take their advice, you sit there, you don't address it at all, eventually it will just start to rot away. You will always need to address the issue. The quicker the better. And if it gets addressed, you can still walk and you're just fine. If you leave it for a long time, it's going to be a much harder road to go down.
Absolutely. I mean, it's one thing I'm hearing from both of you actually is, and it ties into something that happened recently with slitsvo.info. I think I'm pronouncing them correctly. Slitsvo.
I don't know if I've ever heard it pronunciated.
I also have never heard it pronounced like
Got it. We'll say it's correct.
The .info ones that start with slit dot them. But they had a court ruling against them, prohibiting them from publishing research on corruption about a specific department. And they could not publish it. And I think 5 or so other Ukrainian media houses then said, well, there's no interdict against us, so we'll publish it.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing from you as well is it's this solidarity that's needed amongst journalists. And trying to phrase this in a nice way, without stepping on toes. But I feel like there's always this thing of you've got people who are really into it and committed to telling the truth and committed to the profession that is journalism. And then you've got other people who are they stumbled upon it along the way and the likes and the clicks are awesome.
That's not an excuse though. I didn't decide one day I'm going to be a journalist, right? I was following the war at the start of it. People came to my channel thinking that my coverage was decent. And slowly from there, I went from covering the war in my bedroom to on the front line within 2 months, right? Because I made active decisions that slowly dragged me closer and deeper into the war. So, I mean, there's no excuse if you've been covering the war for 5 months, then maybe you don't know all of the details of who even the defense minister is. You just know that there's a good guy and then there's a bad guy, and I support the good guy, and that's fine. Also, I do want to, but again, if you've been doing this for this long, you should have an idea about what you're doing. You should be asking pertinent questions. Yeah. Also, I've seen people saying, I saw at least one person say, it's not the job of foreign journalists to tell Ukrainians what to do. I'm not saying that we're not dictating policy. We're not dictating who should be appointed in what cabinet position, but journalists also need to be honest about the situation on the ground, right? It's not my job to go out there and be Sierski's fluffer and like pretend that everybody likes him and that everybody, like, the real problem is no, it is my job to report what's happening when it comes to abuses in the military, when it comes to issues of corruption, and report these things, report what society thinks about these things, and let that speak for itself. If people want to ask my personal opinion, I can have that opinion, but it must be hard line separated from my work. My biases is going to bleed into my work, because from the moment you choose your camera angle, you're showing your biases. You're saying this is more important to focus on than this. So your biases are inherently going to sink into your work. The fly on the wall journalism can't truly be fly on the wall journalism. It's going to have your biases injected into it. But it's not our job to decide for Ukrainians, but it is our job to be honest with Ukrainians.
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's people who have been doing this job much longer than both myself and Dylan. I chose to come out here and do this journalism thing, but it started out much as, I want to come out here and I want to tell stories. And then it just kind of rapidly, kind of like Dylan said, advanced into what I'm doing today. There's people who have better education, better quote unquote traditional education backgrounds in journalism. There's people who have just started journalism, and there are those who look at the situation here and know what cards to play to get influence, to talk with people, to build on that. And to do that, you sometimes have to play the game that isn't journalism. You sometimes need to play the game of real social politique, if you want to call it that. How can I climb the ladder? How can I talk to the next most important person? What can that person get me? Whereas, Dylan and I tend to focus on stories that not a lot of other people will cover or want to cover, or, sometimes brigades that have never once had press with them. And they're important. They're interesting. They're interesting guys. And just, they're not the big names, so no one gives a shit. Same with everything in the political realm that has been happening in Ukraine. People can talk about it. People have better access than either of us have that could go and talk about it in a very meaningful and deep way. And they choose not to. They choose that because they know, they won't get that again then. And they like it. They like having that. I think that is something very distinctly different than journalism. But that journalism in and of itself is kind of a weird semi-dead term in my head. So that's my own blackpilling of the term. So
last thing I'll say on this is journalists must be willing to get blacklisted. This is not about making friends. This is about contributing to the historical record, right? I'm not welcome back at the 22nd anymore, and that's fine. If they don't want me back with the 22nd anymore, that's perfectly fine. I think the reasons are silly, but that's just how.
What happened? Can I ask?
That was his other story
at
about
this point. I'm 5 years in. I don't care anymore. So
okay.
I can say perfectly fine. I don't care. They might care, but I don't care. I reported on the attack into Kursk, and I said how they actually did it, and that was a problem. I didn't say the stylized version. I talked about, there were soldiers that dressed in civilian clothing in order to blend into the local population, in order to make it look like the buildup was not as significant as it was. Now, when they engage in military operations, they put on military outfits. I never said anything contrary to that fact. But by talking in that type of explicit detail about military operations, they felt that I was revealing operational info. Now, this was it wasn't before, it was after the incursion. After this information would have already been useless. But, and it was also after 2 weeks after another news outlet, much more influential than myself, had already reported it. So it wasn't even like I was doing groundbreaking journalism, but because I chose to focus on something else than what they wanted to be focused on, I'm simply the deputy press officer doesn't like me. So I just don't get it. It's not like you are banned from this region. It's more like we will just not call you back. And that has to be something journalists are willing to do in order to tell the story. If I didn't talk about it in those details, then I would leave the operation in some sort of vague, like they did something and then they succeeded. Like that.
Somehow they managed to get there.
Yeah. So I think journalists need to be willing to burn bridges if necessary, not with the objective of burning bridges. You don't want to burn bridges, but you have to be willing to do what is necessary to get the story, or ultimately your objective isn't journalism, it's making friends.
Yep. I have been in the Kyiv circles long enough when I did live in Kyiv to know that is a lot of what goes on there. There's a lot of bar hopping. There's a lot of chit chat between people, and sometimes that's the goal for them. And if that's them, that's them. But no, you need to be willing to take that. Dylan and I both kind of live by the philosophy that journalism is a first draft of history. So if we get it wrong, if we fuck it up, that could have bigger implications much farther down the line. So, half of our audience is today, probably half to maybe even a third of our audience is in the next 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 years in the future. Who knows?
Sure. Yeah. Chat agrees with you, by the way.
Of course, we're correct.
Smart. So
also, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. This is good news for Devin, but I can do like maybe 10 more minutes because I do have track Ukraine work I gotta get done, and this is technically supposed to be a short vacation before I go back to a different war zone. So I gotta I gotta use my time wisely.
That's the thing. Like I was like, because usually I'm like, hey, it's just an hour, and Dylan's like, oh yes, I'm ready, let's go. Devin is like, I'm ready, I'm pumped, and I'm like, I hope Dylan knows he's supposed to be ready for this as well.
I told her that you're always late, so it's okay,
Well, I just can't stand your presence for more than necessary.
That's understandable, It's mutual, even, so.
No, but I do appreciate you being here. If you do need to leave, please, you are allowed to. I'm waiting
You're allowed to flee me, you East Coaster, so. Run away.
Wait, isn't your whole state made of people who the East Coast was too difficult for them, so they ran away to the West? Like all the people who were,
you guys kept trying to stop our innovation, so we went somewhere better.
Idea. Like,
we got more than you did, motherfucker.
The world equivalent of those elderly boomers who go into the casino and just go over and over in the slot machine. They just decided to do it. At least you could say about the elderly boomers today, they're looking at flashing colors. Your boomers were just looking at rocks all day and still doing it.
Yeah. And they got fucking rich from it. Yeah. The difference is our boomers, they kept winning. They kept winning.
So I don't think those gold prospectors are known for their immense wealth.
You know what? Not the East Coast ones.
Yeah, because there's no gold prospecting on the East Coast. If you're an East Coast gold prospector, you are a real window licker.
Mitch says West has better pot.
That hits you hard.
Sorry, I didn't hear that. What was that?
West has better pot.
Sorry, I didn't hear that.
Oh, okay, got it.
Mm-hmm. They said everything's better in the West, Are you still getting interference or, the hair moving the wrong way?
Is he talking? That's much better.
I bet if I said
I don't know what tongue that was, but you should speak that language more often.
Should I? Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You know, I got surprised by Devin today because he said, Dylan, you want to take this question first? I've never heard him say those words before.
Yeah, I'm a gracious Californian, man, you know?
The first one.
The best one. The better American, actually. So,
You know what? I can imagine that you're the best West Coaster. I can believe that.
yeah. Is that a high bar or a low bar? For me, that'd be a pretty low bar. Okay, yeah. If it makes you feel any better, you're the most tolerable East Coaster, so.
I thought you were going to say tolerant, which would also be true.
That is true, yeah. So you don't have any discrimination against the minorities, so.
I can't make that. I can't even joke about that. I can't. I have like, I got too many in the chamber.
Overstuff that magazine, man.
Oh my goodness.
I like how it bounces back and forth between here's deep conversation about what journalism is, and then it's just me and Dylan in the corner, like fucking backyard boxing each other.
Like an old Kimbo Slice video.
Yeah.
We do have a comment from chat. Unpopular opinion, Texas has better Mexican food than California.
Kill that person.
I mean, it's called Tex-Mex, right?
Yeah, the shitty version of Mexican food, yeah. So besides, they're technically they have a coast on the east, so Texas better watch out. Get lumped in with this guy, you know?
I don't have any positive words really to say about Texas. I wish I did, but like I was there once, and the entire time I was there, I was just thinking about how I could leave. It is like the most I'm sorry, if you don't have a car there, you might as well kill yourself. It is like it is horrid. It's horrid. Like you want to take a walk, you idiot, you fool.
Yeah.
A walk.
Walk around your own house.
Okay, so sorry. Here's the thing. It's Jenny's. She's Swedish, so Swede said that. So.
Oh, so now the Texans are paying foreign bots to spread their propaganda. Swedish bots. Okay. And by the way, Swedes, they've been mixing enough with the Laplanders. They're basically Finns. I'm just gonna throw that out there too.
You know what? Annex them right now. So Greater Finland. So we could fund a separatist movement, Dylan.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
We are very serious people.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Yeah, so guys, I do want to say we still have a fundraiser going.
People should go donate to that.
Since the start of the stream, so if you could still donate, that would still be cool. Really, so we're getting a vehicle for our guys in the 77th. So when we launched this summer fundraiser, we were like, okay, cool. 2 vehicles for the 3 main battalions we support. And I messaged the guy from the 77th. I'm like, hey, so we have this fundraiser. Can we get you a vehicle? And he's like, oh my word, you're right on time, as always. We just opened a new position. And I'm like, cool. I feel like if I didn't message him the next day, he would have messaged us. So he's like, you're right on time. I'm like, yeah, that's us, punctual as fuck.
You guys were on his checklist, and he's like, oh, skipped a few. There we go.
Exactly. It's literally what I feel like happened. But yeah, so we're already quarter of the way there with this fundraiser, for this specific thing. So we're 25% done. So that's how maths work. So
that is, yeah, that's a really good amount. People should make it higher, though. I feel
they should.
You know, I don't know how Dylan feels about that. He, is a strange
I know it should be
being.
higher, but that's because I went from a Maryland-based education system.
Yeah. We have more cars.
It's not a good thing. That's why is that a positive? We have more
we just
cars.
know more about them. We have
good
more
education.
of them.
You went beep beep.
Beep beep, motherfucker. I don't know what to tell you, okay?
Well, I mean, beep beep might be traumatizing and triggering for Dylan nowadays.
That's true. Yeah.
Actually, yeah. All I do is I see his ripped shirt everywhere I look.
You walk around the corner, you just see a very large man. You go, oh, yeah.
I've never been one to
every
turn away from
commander
large
we
men.
run into as well.
Nothing.
Okay. It's like every commander we run into that does anything logistics. It's always like we were standing in Kramatorsk somewhere wanting to ask the commander if we can film them putting up these anti-FPV drone nets, thin wires, try to keep the drones off the streets. And they're like, wait for the commander to get here, talk with him, see if he can, okay, no problem. We waited. We watched a thin guy walk past, and Bogdan, our fixer, was like, oh, maybe that's the commander. But it was not the commander. We watched a slightly, and then we watched a slightly heavier man walk down the road, and we went, oh, probably not. Wasn't the commander. And then the girth himself walked down the road, short shorts, tight shirt, out to here, walking down the road. And we went, that's him. Fuck, it was him. Nice guy. Let us film. But yeah, we can, I think they grant command in logistics by who eats the previous commander. So I love logistics. I'm sorry, guys. I had to.
Oh my goodness. Oh my word. Lynn, anything to add to that?
Man, he looked like King Kong Bundy. He was a giant.
Did. He was massive, dude.
It was just so, and immediately when I see him, I was like, "That is the commander." We didn't even wait. We just walked up, hand extended. We didn't wait for him to announce he was the commander. We just assumed, and we were 100% right. And it's always the biggest guy around. And they have him in logistics because it would just be too big of a fucking target if he was anywhere near the. They would be like, he's got his own moons and shit. You gotta keep him in the back working in logistics, but he can't be driving stuff around because then it would take double the amount of gasoline. So he has to work in a command position.
Look, if he was on the front, they just don't make plates that big for a plate carrier. All right, they just don't fit at that point. Actually, that might be a really good anti-drone deterrent, gravitational field.
Gravitational field. I thought you were gonna say just bounces off.
Dong.
You ever see the what's his name, King Hippo from Punch Out? That's his deputy. That's his deputy commander.
That's true. Yeah, that's the guy who needs to bulk up some more. Okay.
Oh my goodness.
Is this where you thought the stream would head tonight?
Not a plate carrier, plate tent. Okay, we're done.
It's actually just one big piece of sheet metal, So
nice guy, by the way. Really,
great guy.
Perfectly
great
polite.
guy. Yeah, great guy. Gave him a patch, So let us film, no problems. So
hopefully he doesn't watch the stream.
Yeah, we wouldn't be be away. We'd add to his girth.
We'd be trying to run away, and it would be like the cartoon, our feet would be hitting the ground, but we'd be getting dragged back more and more and more and more.
I was thinking more his arms and legs are tracked, and he just starts rolling in our direction.
Oh my god!
And it's like that scene in Indiana Jones, trying to run away from the fucking big ass boulder.
Oh my goodness!
Holy statue! It's just like the plate of food that we're running away with. Okay.
You're
Dylan, what's
both
your
terrible.
If he was Goliath in a David and Goliath story, him and David would have died because he would have also just fallen on David.
Just like, yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'm glad
Like
you
if
got
King
to
Kong
film.
survived New York.
I'm glad you were able to film that though. Not him, the Knicks.
It was very hard not to film him. We tried not to, but he just kept going in the frame.
Wow.
Can you believe I'm not welcome to some brigades?
Can you believe that Dylan gets blacklisted sometimes?
Shocker. Oh my goodness. Oh my word. So I have a random question, right? How much do your families know about the work you do and where you go? Like your parents, like how cleaned up are they?
My mom texted me earlier. I mean, she's watching, or she was watching like an hour ago. She knows everything. Like anytime, like when I got hit with the FPV, she knew that day. You know, when I'm going out to run around in some of these places, I usually give her a general plan and full update after that. What she tells my grandparents, probably 60 to 50% of that. But yeah, no. My mom is the type of person who works better with more information, and she knows what I do. She couldn't stop me if she tried. She knows that. So she just kind of embraces it. I mean, she doesn't like some of the stuff that I do, but she supports me in what I do fully. So, which is very rare. You know, a lot of soldiers don't have that relationship with their families, wives, even friends in a lot of cases. But Mom says she tells the grandparents about 20% of what happens. So live updates. Hi, Mom.
Oh my goodness. And Dylan, your side?
Well, I think they know I'm in Ukraine. I think they had that much they know. There's no reason for me to just cause them like a lot of concern and worry. So a lot of it is kind of asking forgiveness instead of permission. It's just I think it's just easier that way. But there's also like a part of it where, you know, part of the family just doesn't want to know also. Where like for me, if I talk about the war, I talk about the war. I'm not just gonna like lava Ukraine or whatever. I remember like once like somebody got out of me like a story about what I saw in Kherson, right? About like, you know, we were going somewhere and just like 30 seconds before we arrived, this old woman was hit by a drone, just laying dead, like having to be scraped off the pavement with a shovel, like just terrible stuff. And I remember the reaction I literally got was, I don't want to hear about that. It was just like, okay, you know, like that for some people, the war should just be like toy soldiers. And like that should be the depth and complexity that they get of the war. And so I don't talk to my family about the war. I don't, because it's just either I'm gonna cause them a lot of worry, or I'm going to be met with like disgust at my experiences. So I keep my experiences to myself. I don't. When I get back home, I talk about the war rarely and with few people. And it's also there's no like camaraderie or solidarity and experience or even like faintest understanding in the eyes of the people I talk to when I do talk to them about it. And so why am I gonna like sit down and try to explain something to somebody who will never understand what I'm talking about truly? I mean, like the closest I can get is when I talk to like some American veterans, but even they are like, it's a totally different war. Like they talk to me about like being scared of IEDs, and I mean, like, yeah, I got butterfly minds too, but my IEDs got wings and they have eyes. You know, it's a little different.
They hunt you. Yeah.
So it's like it. So I think I just don't.
I think that's fair. To also be fair on my mom's side, not only is she good with information, she has actually come here to visit me. So she knew that I wouldn't leave here. So she came all the way to Kharkiv to come and stay with me. So there's a different understanding from somebody who will come here or has been here. When I went back and forth between the U.S. and Ukraine, there was very few people that I could like really talk to about things or that would get any of it. And oftentimes then the dark humor that had developed will shock and amaze those people who are not quite ready yet.
Yeah. Oh, it's funny because I know some of the guys we help, some of the soldiers, like family thinks they're doing admin in Kyiv, and I'm like,
Jesus, yeah.
I'm like, dude, in Pokrovsk, but his family thinks he's doing admin in Kyiv. Or we'll just like get a thank you video. It's like, hey, please can you blur the faces? The family thinks they're in Lviv.
Oh, Jesus, that's the worst. Yeah.
But other people are like, no, it's okay. Their family won't watch the stream. It's fine.
Yeah.
Like,
they'll never find out.
It's fine. It's like, no, they don't speak English. It's fine. I'm like, okay.
It's a superpower.
So it's really like, it's interesting for me to see with soldiers where I'll be like, does your family know? Do they not know?
Yeah.
And then they'll be like, they know the general direction. They don't know. Like, they know I'm in the east. And other people are like, no, they think I'm doing paperwork in Kyiv.
Yeah. There's one time with Hajak where I was going out with the spy drone unit, and the commander of the spy drone units of Hajak, his wife is also in the brigade, and it was like both of their days off, so they're like, yeah, we'll go with you, and they just came as a couple, and I have like couple photos of them in their military uniforms, like couple photos holding each other and kissing. Yeah, so it's like complete opposites, you know.
Yeah. So I think
you gotta go soon, Dylan, or are you good?
I think I should probably be heading out. Is there any questions you wanted to ask specifically about the embeds that we did on this last trip before I go?
Yeah, I did actually. About the what is your prepping beforehand when you do this, and just dealing with it, like you're there, you're just like, cool, there's random artillery being like hitting you and you're just in a trench. Like, what goes through your head? Which sounds like a really dumb question to ask.
Hopefully not the artillery.
That was a good one. I appreciate that.
That was solid. That was solid.
Yeah.
That was great.
That was. It reminds me of my Daria Dugina joke. What was the last thing that went through her head before she died? Her steering wheel.
Yep.
But I mean, what do I think about? I mean, how do I prepare? I mean, I think earlier on, I remember the first time when I crossed into Ukraine, I was watching The Sopranos for the first time. What a weird environment to watch The Sopranos for the first time.
Objectively, yeah.
And I was just trying to like absorb it. I remember like crossing the border. I'd like just filmed so much, like just out the window, just like absorbing every moment, like going to the front for the first time. Like I was, nervous, but I like every moment I'd like reassured myself that I know I want to do this. I know this is what I'm doing. And like, but with each embed, it just got easier and easier for me to kind of like put these like general fact of danger kind of away and only really deal with it when it like slams towards you. Like you hear the buzzing of the drone get too close as the rifle fire picks up from everybody, as everyone's doing everything they can to knock the thing out of the sky. And I think at this point, for me, preparation is getting in the car and passing out, like it just so we could drive to the front, because I'm not getting enough sleep and it's easier to sleep the way to the front line. And Devin knows how much I will snooze in that car, and I will snooze in that car again. So I mean, preparation, like there's not like traditions I do for safety or anything like. I just think that's all kind of bullshit. War's numbers. Like your percentage chance of living and dying depends upon the risks you're willing to take, the risks you're not willing to take, and a bunch of things that are outside of my control. So I've taken the things that are outside of my control and I've thrown them away, and I've solidly just focused on what is inside my control. Like this last trip when I was in Druskivka, I went into Druskivka on like electric bikes, just like going around and like. I remember like in 2020, like 2 or 3, like, those silly Russians on their bikes and stuff. And
yeah.
Like, oh, the biggest, one of the strongest armies of the world. Fuck. Here I
yeah. You know? He's on the little, it's not even a gas bike, you know? So.
It's not even a gas bike. It's not a motorcycle. It's like an electric battle bike, is I guess what you could call it.
It was described to him as like a standing scooter.
Yeah, at first I thought I was going to go in there on like one of those little, like, one of those like
city scooters.
Yeah, one of those like electric 20 kilometers per hour maximum, like little scooters. Beep beep. You know, it's gonna have a little ringing bell on it. But I mean, when I was over there in Druskivka, I mean, there's like times where the drones come in and you can hear it, and you have a certain amount of time, so you've already chosen your cover in advance. And so I know what to do, and I choose my cover in advance. That's something I can do to increase my odds. I look down every road that I go down, and I don't assume that it's safe, and that allowed us to spot some waiter drones that was waiting for us. And so we were able to go around a different road, so we didn't get blown up by this drone that would have literally had to do nothing but press a button if they had a detonate, feature installed onto. But it depends on which drone, whether you need to actually make impact or hit a button. But some of them you literally just need to hit a button. So you walk by, it's basically a mine with a camera. And so it's a lot of these types of decisions that give me a certain amount of control that allows me to deal with it much more psychologically. In moving vehicles is the worst because you have the least amount of control. You can't really run anywhere, and you're the biggest target imaginable to any type. Like the Russians know you're there. Like if you're in a moving vehicle, they know you're there. They can see you. It's really just a question of whether they can get to you in time in order to kill you. Whereas on foot, they might know you're there. They might not know you're there. And if they do know you're there, you might be able to scatter in like different ways where instead of one big target, you're now 6 or 7 targets. So maybe they'll try to go for one and then switch to another. But it gives you a lot more not only determination over your own fate, but it also, allows you to just run the odds in my head. It's like, it's 1 in 7 instead of just 1 in 1. So I think for me, a lot of the preparation is actually math. It's like doing the percentage of like what's the likelihood that this goes wrong, and what odds am I willing to put up with. As for like being on position, like, and what do I think of when we're getting bombed? Fuck.
Shit, that just happened. Yeah. Because it's like preparation. What do I do? First thing.
I'm assuming comfy shoes as well.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. You want to have good footwear especially when you're doing these long hikes in and out of positions. You want comfy fucking shoes. When I'm thinking about preparation, it's like, camera. Make sure I'm charged, make sure I've got the batteries on me, make sure I'm not forgetting anything, like a camera bag or something anywhere, or camera bag on position, somewhere where it takes days or it needs to be shipped back, because it has a really important SD card in it. Anyways, that didn't happen with Dylan. I don't know why you would think that. No, it's all about, for me, that's just like, but that's standard, right? That's operational. You're a journalist. You should have your fucking camera charged. Now I don't even think about it. Okay, hey, we're going to go do this. Cool. There's, everyone has little rituals that they do. They don't make a difference, really. I tend to wear my father's old ring whenever I go to the front. It gives me, I don't know, a bit of psychological, like, there's something there. I can ground myself on that if I ever need it. But I don't really need it that much, I could be just fine one way or the other without it, because it's just kind of work now. What's it like in working in a dive bar that sometimes gets a little too rowdy? Well, if you work there long enough, that's just Tuesday for you. If you have to break up bar fights, if you need to deal with a food condition, you need to deal with a bad employee. Ours just have like you know, you don't get double chances. You fuck up, you die. So that, you know, there's a little bit more pressure there, but it's not I don't know. You go, you know, when this last trip when we were working on the Bropilia front, we entered in on a fully armored vehicle, and well, the only time I've been hit with an FPV is in a fully armored vehicle. I also don't have any control at that moment, like Dylan said, so I don't worry about it at that point. I don't have any control then. And there's something kind of liberating of being like, okay, hey, we get hit, we get out, hopefully everyone's okay. When we're running around on position, it's your job to kind of not only film, but look out for everyone around you. Dylan, he's okay. Okay, Bogdan's okay. Hey, Bogdan, don't pick up that random piece of metal. Hey, guys, watch out, you know, when you're walking through tall grass, like double check paths. It's everyone kind of looking out for each other. And when you work with a team long enough, like, you kind of understand where each other's at.
Bogdan's okay. Devin's okay. Fuck. Damn it.
Yeah, I know. Does Dylan need a tourniquet? Oh, he does?
A big sign with an arrow for the drum.
You plant some like Apple AirTag on me, you're like, the Russians will see this signal. So.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, so it was really nice talking to you and the drone
Thank
magnet,
you for being
Devin.
here.
And I'd like to just tell everybody at home that, you know, you can always do more. I know that you know, it's always, you know, hard to dig a little deeper, but I know that the soldiers definitely appreciate people's support. They definitely appreciate anything you can give, and you know, if you're at home, you know, you have a certain comfort that Ukrainians don't, and certain resources that they don't, that they just don't have. Like, Ukrainians are bled dry when it comes to what they can give. And so I believe that as our nation's governments have pulled back their resources to deal with domestic concerns, or in order, because they think that this war doesn't have anything to do with them, and unless the Russians start picking up advances, then they get very concerned and they remember that it has a lot to do with them. But I don't believe that this war should really end on the Ukrainians just having to pile enough bodies to fill a wall to stop the Russian advance. We should be treating these boys as if they were our own when it comes to contributions. And I hope that you all find some way to help, whether it's through a fundraiser like this, or it's through donating to organizations like UA Animals, and like helping repair the ecological damage that Ukraine's going through, or after the war, helping to donate to CESU emergency services that are going to have to do so much civilian demining, it makes your head spin. I will be dead before they get all the mines out of the ground of Ukraine. Everybody on the show will be dead.
Hopefully.
So hopefully, exactly, Devin. So if you can give anything, I know that they appreciate it, and thank you so much for having me on. And I hope you guys continue to follow the war with the same vigor that it deserves.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being here. Enjoy the rest of your holiday.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Stay safe where you're going, buddy. Love you.
Love you too.
Awesome.
I had to talk to that rat. Fuck. Oh, we're still on.
Ah, shit. He's still here.
Okay. See you guys later. I'm on vacation. Fuck. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm not gonna be live very often. I have like one panel I'm doing this weekend. And then I'm like, I'm gonna be filming in a different war zone. I'll talk about what it is after, because this is I'm trying to keep myself safe. Like, this is a situation where, like, I'm not trying to be kidnapping bait. So we'll talk about it after, and get some work done. Any donations are appreciated. Funds are running a little low, and I appreciate any donations, because I go from this place to this new war zone and then back home to deal with, like, our house still hasn't started reconstruction after the house fire. So I got to, like, figure out what we're going to do, since the insurance money is running out, and we got to figure something out there. So I appreciate everybody's support. I see you guys who are asking about streams. I'm sorry I'm not streaming like I used to. It hurts me not to be talking to you guys, because I miss you guys, but it also, of course, like, hurts financially. but there's just so much to do. Track Ukraine has had much more success than I expected, and that's great, but it also means that conversation with candidates, constant outreach work takes up more and more of my time, and I have only escalated the amount I'm on the front. Where when I first came to Ukraine, I would go to the front for like 1 or 2 days every month, and then it was a week every month, and now it's half the month that I'm on the front. And so obviously, that means that I spend a lot less time streaming, because streaming on the front line is next to impossible. I can't do those 10 hours in minefield, 6 hours in front of the camera, 4 hours socializing and drink. It's just not feasible. And I'm tired. Honestly, I'm exhausted. This war's taking a lot out of me. So once I'm back home, I'll have something that resembles a normal streaming program. We're going to be having streams that are earlier probably in the future instead of 6 p.m. EST streams. So I can have some time after to, spend with my loved ones, try to have something resembling like a social life of somebody in their 20s. Because my entirety of my 20s has been doing this, and I'm trying to find a work-life balance, which is kind of impossible. So I appreciate any support you guys can throw at me to make that somewhat more feasible. I'll have more articles coming out with Offbeat Research in the near future, and once I filmed in this new war zone, I'll talk all about it once I'm done. But until then, I can't, because it's just not safe. I saw some of the donations that came in today. I appreciate that. From Richard and from everybody else that has donated tonight. Thank you. I genuinely appreciate it. $10 means more than you know. Thank you all. Love you all. And take care of yourselves. Okay, there's still a lot of work to do. And if anybody needs to find a way to help volunteer or work, I'm telling you, the November 4th election is right around the corner. Track Ukraine needs every volunteer it could get to do research, and every volunteer it could get to help divide the graphics work. I'm doing everything I can for outreach. I'm doing everything I can for candidate conversations. I'm overseeing what I can. But a lot of times I'm working off of limited amount of electricity due to the locations that I'm in. Like, it's weird to do gradings running between positions, but I do it. But sometimes the power just makes it non-feasible. And by having more people in there doing that research work, it makes my work a lot easier, genuinely. So if you guys want to help, you can email wetrackukraine@gmail.com. wetrackukraine@gmail.com. And I will get you into the volunteer Discord, and we'll find work for you. I promise. There's always stuff that can be done there. Thank you all. Love you all. And take care of yourselves. Good night and good luck.